start our our third unit, which speaks about budding scientists. When we say scientists, we say discoveries, inventions, as well as experiments. So today I do prefer to start with a simple experiment. As you can see here, I have a glass of water and a glass of oil. So what are we going to do? I would like you to observe, analyze, and give me the results, all right? So I will try to mix oil with water, adding oil to water. I try to mix them, all right? I'm going to mix and see the results. So since we have finished with example number 1, we move to example number 2. So I would like you to look at the following picture and tell me what does it represent. So what can you see over here?
I can see a student, he is studying, maybe he has an exam.
Yes, so we can see a student who is studying, maybe he has an exam. So how about the second picture, what can you see?
Wow, I can see many students who are very happy.
We can see many students that are very happy. Do you think why they are happy?
Yes, maybe they succeed at their exams.
Yes, maybe they succeeded at their exams. Now I would like you to make a link between the two pictures. What can you say?
I think if you study very hard, I'm sure you succeed.
Ah, nice. So if you study very hard, are you sure that you're going to succeed?
Yes, why not?
So, but you know that if you study very hard, sometimes we succeed and sometimes we fail our exams. So that means we are not sure about our success. Sometimes you succeed and sometimes we fail. So what do you think?
That's right.
So if you study very hard, you will succeed. Now, since the examples are clear, we need to start our lesson and analyze our examples for today. Now, dear students, we are going to analyze our examples for today's lesson. And of course, as usual, you need to give me the title of our lesson for today. So, example number 1. If we mix water with oil, they stay separate. If you study very hard, you will succeed. So, you will succeed if you study very hard. Water and oil stay separate when we mix them. What do you think our lesson for today is about? You can see that if, when. Yes, so the lesson of today is about expressing condition. Expressing condition. We can see here that we have that if, and of course if is a subordinating conjunction that expresses condition. So let me ask you my first question. If we mix water with oil, they stay separate. Do you think that this is a simple sentence? Of course, no, it is not a simple sentence because it is combined with, you have two parts, or it's preferable to say two clauses that are combined together with the subordinating conjunction, which is if, and here we don't have a simple sentence, but we have a complex sentence because we have the combination of two different clauses. So, what is the first clause? The first clause is, if we mix water with oil, they stay separate, is the second clause. How did we separate the two clauses? Of course, by a comma. Okay? Nice. So, how do we call the first clause and how do we call the second clause? So, the clause which is the condition, we say it is the subordinated or the subordinate clause. And of course, we may say this is the if condition. Okay, so this is the condition. Okay, so of course, when we have a condition, we have the results of the condition. So this is, we may say, result clause. clause. Is it clear? When we say clause, of course, it contains only one verb. You can see here, mix is the first verb and stay is the second verb. Nice. Which tense is this? So it is in the present simple, and this one is, of course, the present simple. You can see here that if is at the beginning of the sentence. When we use if, we can replace it by when now. So when, you can see here that the synonym of if is when. Okay, we can put it at the beginning of the sentence as well as in the middle of the sentence. Of course, nice. When we are going to put it in the middle, we are going to take the subordinate clause as it is and put it in the middle. That means we are going to start by the result clause and put the subordinate clause in the second position. Is it clear? Let me ask you a question. Since we are talking about the result clause, and this is the condition, and this is the result, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that whenever we mix water with oil, they stay separate? That means, in other words, are we going to obtain the same result whenever we mix water with oil? Yes, of course. Whenever we are going to try this experiment, we are always going to obtain the same results. So what do you think about this condition? It is true at any time. And this is conditional type 0. So today we're going to speak about conditional type 0. When we speak about the scientific truth or when we obtain the same result of a specific condition. Nice. We move to the second example. If you study very hard, you will succeed. We're going to analyze the same sentence, the second sentence as the same of the first one. So of course here you have the subordinating conjunction. This is the subordinate clause, okay, and you will succeed is the result clause. And of course here the two clauses are separated with a comma, of course, but there is a slight difference. Let's talk about tenses. You see that study here is in the present simple. You will succeed. Do you think that this is the present simple? Of course, no. I know that you are intelligent enough. So will succeed is not in the present, but it is in the future simple. Will is a modal verb, and of course it can be changed by other modal verbs. We can say that if you study very hard, you can succeed. Do you know that why did we use the future simple and not the present simple? Yes, for sure. Here it is not the scientific fact or a general truth, because we are not always sure that when you study very hard, you succeed. That's why we use the future simple when we make predictions or when we try to imagine what may happen in the future, what will happen in the future, because here we don't obtain the same results. If you study very hard, you can succeed as you can or you may fail. That's why we use the future simple, okay, when we speak about possibilities that are likely to happen in the future. And this is not type 0, but it is type 1. As we said in the first example, the subordinating conjunction can be placed at the beginning of the sentence or in the middle of the sentence. And don't forget that when you take the subordinating conjunction, you take the subordinate clause as it is and you place it in the middle. So you are going to start by the result clause. What are we going to say? So you will succeed if you study very hard, okay? That means we're going to start by the future simple and we finish with the present simple only if the subordinating conjunction is in the middle. But when you put the if subordinating conjunction at the beginning of the sentence, that means you're going to start with the present simple and then you move to the future simple. Alright? And here I'm going to give you the last example. If you study very hard, you know that it's approximately like the second one, but I have changed the result clause. So if you study very hard, I will buy you a car. This is my promise for you. So if you study very hard, I promise you that I will buy you a car. What do you understand here? So if you study very hard, you will succeed. So here we have a possibility. If you study very hard, I will buy you a car. So this is warning, okay? So we can use conditional type 1 for different functions. For example, if you would like to express possibility, we use type 1. If you would like to express a promise in the future, you can use conditional type 1. That means conditional type 1 has different functions like warning, promise, threat, whenever you have a danger, possibility, ability, etc. Is it clear? Normally the examples are very clear for you, and now we move to finish the rule. I would like you to complete the rule with me, please. Let's move on. Now we have the rule. You know that the subordinating conjunction if expresses, yes, it expresses condition. Nice. Or when we talk about things that are always true, like yes, we did an experiment together, like a scientific, we say scientific or general truth. General truth, we use conditional type. Do we use conditional type 1? No, it is conditional type 0. General truth, let me give you an example. When we say 1 plus 1 equals 2, this is a general truth. We all agree about this. Nice. The form, of course, we can use if or when you speak conditional type 0. Of course, the subordinate clause is always in the present simple, and the result clause is always in the present simple. That means both verbs, when we talk about conditional type 0, are in the present simple because it is a fact, it is a reality, and of course for type 0. Now we move to conditional type 1 to talk about things. I forgot the word things, I'm really sorry about this. So to talk about things that are likely, that means you are not sure, that are likely to happen in the future, we use conditional type 1. Conditional type 1 when we speak about something that we are not sure about, when we don't obtain the same result, we don't use a conditional type 0, but we use conditional type 1. We move to the form. So here you have if, subject, verb. That means the subordinate clause is always in the present. That means the condition is always in the present. But here, when we speak about the results, we are not going to obtain the results right now, but we are going to obtain them in the future. So here we use the future simple. And of course, when we say conditional type 1, we don't have the same results, when we don't obtain the same results, because we are not speaking about a fact. If, of course, can be placed at the beginning or in the middle of sentences. As we said in our examples, can be placed at the beginning of the sentence or in the middle of the sentence. Normally now, dear pupils, the examples are clear enough. The rule as well, we need to move to practice. So, task. Put the verbs between brackets in the correct form. That means we are going to conjugate verbs in the tense that is suitable for each one of them. So if you boil, so you can see here that the if is at the beginning of the sentence. So if you boil water at 100 degrees centigrade, it evaporates. We all know that when we heat water, it boils. How about when it boils, it evaporates? And of course, this is scientific truth. That means we're going to use conditional type 0. When we use conditional type 0, both verbs are in the present simple because it is a fact. So if you boil water at 100 degrees centigrade, it evaporates. conjunction, which is at the beginning of the sentence. That means since, and of course it is a scientific truth, that means both verbs must be in the present simple. So if you mix red and blue, you get purple. Okay, we move to the third example. You feel better if you take an aspirin. You know that when sometimes we are sick, when we take an aspirin, we're not always going to feel better. And this is what makes it conditional type 1, because when we take an aspirin, we don't always feel good, okay? So we are not sure about this, so this is a possibility. That means it is conditional type 1. When we conjugate the first verb, the condition, okay, when the condition, the verb of the condition, sorry, is always in the present simple and the result is in the future. So when we say you feel better if, since if is in the middle of the sentence, that means we need to start by the, of course, the result clause. And the result clause must be in the future simple. So what do we say? If, you will feel better if you, of course, in the present simple, we say if you take an aspirin. Okay, we move to the last example. So she be sick if she drink from that polluted water. Are you sure that when she drinks from that polluted water, she's going to be sick at 100%? Of course, we cannot be sure about this, which makes it conditional type 1. The result is always in the future. So, as the third example, if is in the middle of the sentence, that means we should start by the future simple. She will be sick if she, of course, drinks from that polluted water. Dear students, today we have finished our lesson, okay? So, of course, normally, as I hope so, the lesson is clear for you. And if you have any comments, please just put them down this video and I will be answering all your questions. See you